time for an update on Tina's hospital. I'm going to take you on a little tour of the land today and show you some of the sick dogs and tell you about what's happening on Tina's hospital. So for those people who don't know Tina, she's an incredibly special dog who was very sick and chained up, and she really left an incredible impression. So much so that when she died, I decided that we were going to make a hospital. I'm going to show you where the hospital's going to be in a minute. I'm going to take you to her resting place, talk about some of the funding, the plans, and how quickly it's going to happen. But the main reason for having a hospital actually is just because in some ways you could even say that we nearly have a hospital working already. Sybil is here at the moment. She is doing acupuncture. So this is Celine, who actually went to a hospital 1,000 kilometers away. So Celine is getting her recovery. She's been in swimming this morning, so that's going on. We also have the lovely little puppy next door. If I just open this, he also has a broken leg. He's doing very limited sort of mobility at the moment, but we have to let him rest. So that's the little puppy. Can you pop him back in for me, Sybil? In a minute. He's just going for a pee. Thank you very much. So there's a lot of sick dogs here. We also have obviously little Billy, who's got brain damage. We have Valentina, who has, could be cancer, could be any number of things. So effectively, we are running, I would say, a hospital, but it's done at different vets every single day of the week. We're constantly in our cars, driving to vets, trying to find the right machines is one big problem. There's not a lot of the right machines around. We need MRI scans for Billy, for example. Little Valentina would need a very special procedure. So we need the hospital. And the good news is, this is where it's going to be built. So this is where Tina rests at the moment, herself and Snoop. You can see her tennis ball on the grave. But the really good news is all behind me, all that land over there, which is about twice the size of what we have at the moment, we've secured that. So we've got it for 10 years, and that is the first step for Tina's hospital. So she's going to be here looking out just behind it. All across there is where the hospital is going to be. Now, it's obviously a massive undertaking. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a tiny bit behind on this. What typically happens is we've been getting sterilisation programs and adopting dogs, and basically just so much happens that now it's really time to focus on Tina's hospital. So we'll start rolling out a lot of initiatives and a lot of really planning and budgeting, those type of things that are time consuming, not my speciality, but I'm going to try and get as many people in to help me as possible with that. Now I'm going to take you into my quiet little place, which is here, where we have our little containers that we've built. One has got Billy inside him over there because he needs a little enclosed place, but that's what I mean. We have a lot of sort of cobbled together solutions. So Billy has his own container at the moment because of his brain damage and because we need him a safe place to recover. But ultimately, if he had the hospital, you wouldn't need all that. So I'm going to take you into the sanctuary of my container right now, which is nice and cool. It's got air conditioning in here. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about why we're building the hospital, really. You can see we've got a map here that shows all our adopted dogs. If you look up on a board here, we have some of our lovely success stories. Whacker, Buttons is there, who went to Liam Gallagher. We have Rodney, who else do we have? Hope. Got a whole wall basically of all our adoption successes. Whacker's painting up on the wall. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why we would build the hospital. I'm going to sit down at my desk, which is somewhere that I'm very rarely at actually, here in the container. But what I'm going to have to do for the next 6 months really to get this live is spend a lot of time doing spreadsheets, budgets, and doing all the sort of things that, planning permission. We're very lucky that we have the charity set up now in the UK, which allows us to, fully fund this and put proper budgets together, etc. But the main reason for doing it is what I wanted to talk about is Tina's little bandana. I mean, when she was dying, it was then that I started thinking about it really. She had kidney failure, and basically what I had to do was sit at home with her on a drip every night for 8 hours at one stage. I was doing it, trying to just get her to survive a little bit longer. And that's when I started thinking about it. And then when I buried her, literally she passed sadly, and I buried her down on her grave. I literally let out a roar basically. I was like, I don't want to swear, but F this. I was like, it can't go on like this. And I was like upset, but very determined. I was like, this has to change, you know, like this has to change. So that's already changing with sterilization. We do so many, treat so many dogs, feed so many dogs, but the dream is this hospital. And Tina, her spirit is all around this land already. If you walk around and, you know, we're fixing dogs, there's dogs swimming, Billy, you know, there's sick dogs everywhere, and the treatment they get is really in Tina's name. I mean, we do it for every dog, but just I suppose what I'm trying to say is the sense of kindness and the care that everybody brings, like Sybil and Lana and Valeria, the people who help out, is really in Tina's name, you know, like that. She's like a nurse that sort of watches over everything, you know. We try and be really kind to the dogs. So this is where it happens. The planning is going on in here. I'm full speed ahead. 25th of August is when it's going to happen. Or 20th of August, sorry, that's the day that Tina died. So that's about 6 months away, which is scary. It's scary, but I'm going to get it done. And the good news is people have been very kind with their donations and buying the t-shirts, which is what's going to help us fund the hospital ultimately. So I'm going to take you outside and finish up beside Tina's grave, because that's where I go when everybody leaves the land, or I'm here on my own. P. Wood, the handyman, or at the weekends I go and sit beside the grave, and I don't mind saying, I talk to Tina, I tell her what the progress is, and I've been having to, I got a bit upset there, I've been having to not lie, I've been having to like hide the truth from her, that I'm a bit behind. I've been like, very busy Tina, very busy, doing other stuff, but now I'm fully on the hospital. So don't tell Tina, but I'm a little bit delayed, but we're going to get the hospital built. So I'll go out and show you where she is, and we'll finish up out there and tell you about how much funding we've got and how close we are to making this a reality for Tina. So everything about this place is designed to be, you know, friendly. It's becoming more and more like Tina's sort of like heaven on earth for Tina, if you could imagine it. Obviously Hope Avenue, people probably are wondering, why do you have so many flowers? Why do you have so many plants? That's not what a rescue place is meant to look like. But if I walk over to where Tina is now, that's exactly the feeling I want to have. I want it to be nice and a place where, you know, both animals and humans want to spend their time. So you can see that we're obviously in the middle of the jungle. There's, you know, it's landscaped, I suppose you could say, but it's a place where you would want to spend time. So this is where Tina is buried, and this is where I come and sit in the hammock and finish my days, or just take an hour off really. So what's happening with the hospital? So in cold hard numbers, the good news is, I mean, this is unbelievable, and probably a lot of people watching this have supported it in one way or another. We sold the merchandise at Christmas, which was Tina t-shirts, which were wonderfully designed by a lovely lady in Australia. We sold the colouring book, but we basically made, in profit, I think we made about 70,000 from those, 60, 70,000. I think we're still getting the exact final numbers on that once it gets transferred in, but that was a great help. The book that I wrote last summer, Hope, I've given every single penny that I've made from that. Not one penny for myself. Everything is going to Tina's hospital. I don't have the exact numbers quite yet, but I think that's going to be somewhere around sort of just under 100,000. So that's a nice chunk of change that's going towards the hospital as well. And then people have committed, and donations, and various people direct, and lots of people really, really want to help. But long story short, the wonderful news is we have about over 300,000 euros to go towards the hospital, which is a phenomenal amount of money. Now, what I'm going to be working on in the next while is budgets with Lindsay, who helps me out, going to visit some other hospitals, talking to designers, architects, all that sort of stuff. Sort of stuff that you need. But that'll get us a good bit of it built. I have a few ideas for, obviously, all the money continuing comes in for my book, goes towards it. All the money, I think money's luckily going to be okay. I mean, obviously we've still got to raise a bit of money, and then what's really important is working out budgets for the monthly ongoing. Like, we have to hire vets, we need to get medicines, we need to, you know, put a full plan in place. And then there's really tricky things like, who do we treat? You know, it's for street dogs obviously, but we need to put in place a lot of systems to deal with, you know, maybe rich pet owners cannot just turn up and use the hospital, because the idea is it's free, you know, so it's totally free. So all those things need to be figured out. But we have the money, which is really, really good, most of it. We have the will, we have the wonderful thing that I wanted to get across is that this stuff is kind of already happening, like Billy and Celine and all the dogs, Valentina, that we treat, like, we are effectively a hospital already. It's just very annoying to have to send them 1,000 kilometers or even 10 kilometers when a dog like Valentina is really sick. Like last weekend, myself and Sybil, this is a really good example. Myself and Sybil had to decide. We thought Valentina was going to die, really, and we thought her lung had maybe collapsed, but it was ridiculously hot, 35 degrees centigrade, nearly 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And we thought, should we just keep her in my house with the air conditioning, or if we put her in the car, drove her to the vets, about a 3-4 hour process, we thought she would die. And I think that, you know, who knows if we're right or not, but it felt like that way. So we decided not to. We decided to keep her at home and calm her down and take her in the next day to the vet, which ended up working. It did work. But if the hospital was here and you could wheel her into the, you know, intensive care, that's the dream. And that's what Tina would love. She's, I do every single bit of this. Like, I mean, I work 16 hours a day, and I do every single second of the day is, I think about Tina, and I think about the hospital, and we're getting closer, and it's going to happen, and it's going to happen just there. And the first thing you'll see, I think, is we'll be clearing that land very, very soon. So just sort of flattening it and getting rid of some of it's pretty bad land up here. It's a lot of rubbish and junk and stuff like that. So that'll be happening, I would say, within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then that's when it'll feel real. When you're putting a spade into the ground or an excavator or something and you're clearing the land, it's real. Deep down, I'm like, oh my God, a hospital for Tina. Like, it doesn't feel like, I can't, of course it's going to happen, and of course I can kind of visualize it, but I can't really imagine what it would be like to walk into a reception and see Tina's big face on a, you know, I've loads of things that people have given me, blankets and posters and paintings and mugs, and they'll be all over reception, and that will be the most amazing thing ever, to walk in there and see sick dogs being treated. So it's already happening a little bit, but it's going to go much bigger in scale. So thanks. I hope a bit longer video, but I just wanted to give you insight into the stuff that's happening behind the scenes to make Tina's hospital a reality. You can just help. What really does help is a subscribe down below, or hit the like button if anybody's still watching, which I doubt at this stage. But have a wonderful day.